Bună seara tuturor! Bine ați revenit la Sports Business Academy, a noua ediție. Suntem deja în a doua săptămână. Timpul trece repede. Mulțumesc în primul rând că ați reușit să stați la deschidere în prima săptămână. Atunci când am vorbit despre nutriție în sport și am vorbit, bineînțeles, de management sportiv. Astăzi avem un invitat din Londra, Stephen O'Connor. Stephen, I just seen you on the camera. I hope you can connect us. I don't hear you. Bun. Oameni buni, rămânem exact ca până acum, cu alte cuvinte. Am să vă rog să punem întrebările la final. Puteți să intrați, bineînțeles, live cu noi. Trebuie să puneți doar o iconiță în Zoom, în așa fel încât cei din producție să vă vadă și să vă...
I think it's fine in that way.
Stephen, do you...
present yourself? Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Stephen, do you hear us?
Presentation.
Ok, până când își mai reglează Stephen puțin camera și partea video. Revenim. Am rugămintea să punem întrebările la final și, bineînțeles, puteți utiliza și partea aceea dacă nu vreți să intrați live cu noi.
Can everyone see that okay?
Yeah, Stephen, we can see you. Aș vrea, înainte de toate...
So firstly, thank you very much for having me on today. This kind of has come through Christiana, who I work with at Sport 5, who just asked me to come on and present to you all a little bit about specifically the golf landscape. So I thought I'd just start off by giving you a brief introduction to who I am. So my name's Stephen O'Connor. I currently work at Sport 5, like I mentioned. I'm an account director in the brand solutions division. So as part of that division, we work across multiple sports disciplines with multiple brands to support them on their strategy, to assist them when reviewing the market of going into sponsorship. And specifically, one of my kind of main priorities at the minute is working with a business called Fortinet, who are a big cybersecurity enterprise who sponsor a lot of global golf. They have a partnership on the PGA Tour, on the DP World Tour, a partnership in Australia, and a number of partnerships in Asia too. So that's my role at Sport 5. Historically, I've got kind of an agency and rights holder background. I work for Right Formula Sports Marketing Agency. Right Formula built upon kind of motorsport brand partnership. So I used to look after Logitech's partnership with McLaren Racing, and also Hilton's partnership with McLaren Racing and the DP World Tour as well. Prior to that, I worked directly for the DP World Tour for about 5 years. Started in my career in the Challenge Tour, which is the developmental tour of the golf structure, and then towards the back end of my time at the DP World Tour, my final role was to essentially look after Team Europe at the Ryder Cup. So that's a little bit about me. So just kind of moving on to this specific presentation. So what I'm just going to do is go through golf and the current landscape, what it looks like, and then go into a little bit more detail about Fortinet specifically, to kind of give you a bit of a kind of a live working example of a case study around brand partnership specifically that's currently being used. So first and foremost, no need to show hands if you're not able to, but I just wanted to start with a few questions to try and kind of gauge a little bit about the audience and what you guys have with regards to any level of knowledge within golf. Obviously you have knowledge within the sports industry, but has anybody ever played golf or know anything about it, either press the hand on your screen if you have, and just to give me a kind of a little bit of an idea, or any volunteers to answer, any yeses or nos.
We have in the chat, yes,
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 that's good.
yes.
Okay. So a bit of a mix. So this is good. And then and next is, does anyone have an understanding of the current golf landscape and how it kind of works? That's what I'm going to go into. So yeah, so if you do or want to kind of make any early comments, then please do so now. But if not, we'll kind of move along. And the final one is kind of quite a relevant topic in the world of golf at the minute, and it says, anybody heard of an entity called Live Golf, which is a very disruptive rights holder and tour within the golf landscape at the minute, which I'll come on to in a little bit of detail shortly. But yeah, if anybody's heard of Live Golf, then you're pretty up to date with what's going on within the golfing world. So moving on to just, yeah, so for those who don't have a good understanding of golf currently, to give you a bit of background on the history, a game invented in Scotland nearly 1,000 years ago, a place called St Andrews, which is known as the home of golf. That's a picture of Jack Nicklaus, who stood on what's called the Swilcan Bridge, which is probably the most famous kind of bridge and golf hole within the world of golf. So that's just a little bit on the history. And then moving on to the current playing landscape of golf. So it's made up of a number of tours, of which some of them are your high level playing tour, and then a number of developmental tours as well. So the PGA Tour is probably the most well-known and renowned tour in golf, hosts a number of the best players in the world. That's mainly based in the United States. And is a tour that lasts for around about 8 or 9 months of the year, which culminates in a tour championship. That for a long time has been seen as the pinnacle of the professional game of golf, where a lot of the players globally want to aim to get to. There's also the DP World Tour. The DP World Tour's the main men's golf professional tour within Europe and the Middle East and Africa. Again, there are a number of feeder tours which go into the DP World Tour, but this is the highest level professional golf tour from a male golf perspective in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Then have the Asian Tour, which sits across all of Asia and provides a pathway for Australian, New Zealand, Asian young golfers to turn professional, and then most of those within the pathway will move from the Asian Tour to either the DP World Tour or the PGA Tour, depending on the level they get to. And then finally is Live Golf. So this is something that's a very new entity. It's just over a year old. Backed by Saudi Arabia and the PIF, which I'm sure many of you have heard of, with a fairly bottomless pit of money. A lot of the players across certainly the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour have moved to play on the Live Golf Tour, which has caused some level of controversy over the past year due to the players leaving and without kind of actually having the right to be able to leave, but also the reasons for leaving. And that's been a big disruptor in the industry this year with regards to how it's perceived from a sponsorship perspective, but also how players are now starting to engage with golf, and how fans are also engaging with golf too. If anyone has any questions at any time, by the way, feel free to just chime in with anything you'd like to, or drop it into the chat. I'll try and keep track of it, or put your hand up on the screen, and I'll try and keep track. And then just